Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch. PC players are going to have to just wait a couple of more weeks for all of this brand new DLC to be able to make their way onto Steam. Remember that Capcom already confirmed that you're going to be getting all of this DLC at the end of February, as both the Nintendo Switch and PC's DLCs will be syncing up. So for now, this is just for the Nintendo Switch players. And as it happens to be every single week, we get a brand new event quest added into the game, and this week is no different. And as I tell you guys all the time, so if you don't necessarily know how to get your event quest, make your way down to the Steelworks, speak to the courier cat, go all the way down to the add-ons option, and claim anything that's labeled in white, be it free item packs, free item rewards, free event quests, or anything along those lines to make your experience a little bit better. This week, we got a really surprising event quest. If anything, it's completely unexpected, and this one is called the Advanced Crimson Calamity. And as you would have expected right from the name, we're basically going to be fighting a super Crimson Glow Valstrax. This is going to be a Crimson Glow Valstrax that is going to be appearing in the Infernal Springs, obviously a new area that they added in patch 3.0. And this one is gonna be tough for a lot of people. Let's just be flat out and honest about it. All of the super apexes and all the super monsters that we have been receiving as of late have been a real challenge for a lot of players. I've seen a lot of just criticism of like just one hit KO moves, or just how hard they hit, or how unprepared your other teammates just simply happen to be, so they make the hunt a little bit tougher for you. But at the end of the day, we're dealing with monsters with higher damage parameters, meaning that they're going to hit you way harder than they typically would, and they have a crap ton of health, like a ridiculous amount of health. So this one, I do think specifically when it comes to health, he doesn't have the same type of levels as of like an apex, super apex monsters like health pool. I believe the health pool is in the mid 30,000s, so it's not as high as other ones that we've seen with mid 45s or so. This one is pretty acceptable to say, but it's still a lot more health than he typically would normally. And then on top of that, like I mentioned before, damage parameters means that a typical move that would have just kind of just let you live, now it's just gonna one hit KO you, no questions asked. Of course, he has this dive from the sky that you're going to be, used to knowing how to Superman dive your way out of to avoid as best as possible. But if you don't necessarily know how to, you definitely should be keeping your eyes whenever he flies up in the sky. Just tuck your weapon away and start running. Whenever you hear him about to land, Superman dive, and you should be completely safe, not necessarily a problem. With that said, however, his little sphere tosses are hitting pretty dang hard in this specific quest. Also, if he happens to pounce on you and then does the burst beam attack, like where he does like a forward beam going forward, he usually does that right after a pounce. That will most likely one or two hit KO you or combo you into a death rather quickly. I think I got pretty lucky for me personally in this hunt. Bunch of Japanese players that I was playing with, none of them carded. No one ever really got really super low on health. Everyone's doing pretty well. We took it down in less than 10 minutes, I think. And it was pretty easy. I didn't necessarily find it too much of a challenge. But again, you definitely should come in prepared with some powders, some chug potions, anything along the lines that are going to give you more health, more stamina. I started to do this recently. I always put in the defense charm, whatever the one that gives you more health. It has more defense as well. So I swap it out for the attack one just so I could give myself a little bit more extra defense. I always eat for the monster's element so I can make sure I could avoid some of that as well. And high defense, the defense buff as well. Definitely go for that whenever you can. But other than that, this is a pretty standard Crimson Glow Valstrax fight. Not necessarily anything surprising. No new moves here. Nothing necessarily unexpected other than the fact that he does hit extremely hard. He has more health. And he's just kind of by himself in this Infernal Springs, which is interesting. This area has not necessarily been used all that much. I believe a few weeks back we got a fight with a Tetranodon in there and another monster I can't quite remember. Might have been a Lagambi, I can't quite remember. But it was interesting nonetheless. I do hope that they give us more of these fights in this area, and that ultimate fight where you have three monsters fighting at the same time in the same area. not in the arena, so you don't have to divide them up and you could just have complete chaos. I'm definitely looking forward to those type of event quests in this game for sure. Now, when it comes to actual rewards, you're not going to really be getting anything here. These event quests are usually done for, like, I guess the honor, if you want to really put it that way, for the self of accomplishment. That's what these really, you know, super monsters are really there for, to give you a challenge. You're not going to be getting any sort of stickers or stances or poses or anything along those lines. No layered armor this week. We got 2 layered armor sets back-to-back weeks, so not this week. We're not getting anything like that. But other than that, that's pretty much what we're dealing with. A super Crimson Gold Valstrax in the Infernal Springs. Pretty fun fight, I think, but I do understand that a lot of people are going to be having a little bit of a tough time, definitely if they're not prepared. I will suggest this to range users for sure, gunners, bowmen, whatever you might be. Make sure you either check the storage right before you go into the hunt, or bring your very own Farcaster. I do believe there's one in the shelf there in the box. If you look into it, I do believe there's always one there in the Infernal Springs. But if you forget, like I did, and you don't have your own very own Farcaster with you, then you're going to be in the situation where I was in, where I ran out of my 2 main shots, and then I was just dealing with piercing, and I'm not a big fan of piercing. I never have been. I don't have the setup for that, so I was just kind of dealing mediocre damage. But again, I do think the rest of my party was pretty good, to the point that it wasn't necessarily a problem. No one ever really got in danger or anything along those lines. But I do think I definitely messed up in the fact that I didn't bring a Farcaster. I could have teleported back to the tent, picked up more ammo and stuff, and I could have went back and been a little bit more help to my team in that regard. So I definitely messed up in that way, but usually hasn't necessarily been that much of an issue in most hunts. I do suggest you guys bring your very own Farcaster if you happen to be a gunner, a bowman, or anything like that, just so you can easily teleport back, get more ammo, and be ready to go. Because again, you're going to be engaging the monster, and you cannot teleport whenever you are in combat. So a Farcaster will solve that, but you're not going to be able to just simply pour it out naturally just by bringing up the map or anything like that, like you typically would. You have to be disengaged from monster, and in this area, you're always going to be engaged. The second that he sees you, he's automatically going to be engaged. So do keep that in mind. But that's about all the information that I wanted to go over. Again, good event quest. Check it out. I highly recommend it. If you are brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.